Hi, greetings, it's me, Dr. Paul Gerhardt, and this is video number 5 from our entrepreneurship video series. And this particular video will talk about business mission and strategies. So let's get right into recognizing what a mission statement is, and understand why we need to understand what constitutes a sustainable competitive advantage. A mission statement, briefly put, is a brief statement that summarizes how and where a firm will compete. I double dog dare you to go to any of your favorite companies' websites and search for their mission statements. See if you can see the magic formula for making an effective mission statement. A mission statement should drive almost everything that your organization does, and all systems and policies should be in alignment with a well-written mission statement. Mission statements really can help a company change when it needs to change. And companies' mission, vision, and overall strategy and goals, simple rules, and statement of purpose all are important things that mission statements otherwise go by. And one important thing about this is they need to be concise and need to be understood by everybody who's going to read these mission statements, and they really should have a focus on activities that offer a competitive advantage. And we'll talk about that statement, competitive advantage, again a little bit more. So capabilities are resources that combine and allow a firm to do things that its competitors better than their competitors. So very often companies' resources can be constrained, and it really is important for people to be very clear with a mission statement on who they are and how they go about things in order to make sure that companies are spending time and energy in the right way. So when you're designing a mission statement, there are really 5 things that should be considered. 1, mission statement should be short. 2, they should be simple. 3, they've got to be applicable. And 4, they need to be specific. And 5, as much as possible, they should have established measurable goals. So when you go and you are searching for your favorite company's mission statement, see if it's short, simple, applicable, specific, and has established measurable goals. And keeping it short, the fundamental aspect cannot be overemphasized. It must be short. While written to guide employees, it also must really speak to customers, suppliers, and others. This should be a short, direct statement designed to guide the organization each and every day, and it should be clear, succinct, and memorable, and widely known by all in the firm. I mean, how many people out there that are watching this video now that have a job know their company's mission statement or some variety of it, but know the essence of it? Probably most people don't. So keeping things simple, make sure that it really should be shared. It really is important to communicate the mission easily, and the statement must be simple, direct, and appropriate. Make sure that the words that are used and the concepts that are in the mission statement have straightforward and clear meaning, and try to avoid adjectives and descriptive language as much as possible. It's also important to make your mission statement applicable, so that everyone can effectively use and benefit from the mission statement. The mission really should be actionable. It should help employees make active decisions in the moment. It should guide everyone towards the owner's goals. And it should ensure that everyone is headed in the same relative direction. It also must be specific. It tells everyone what not to do. And the limitation should be very clear to everyone. And employees that are making daily decisions should be able to use the mission statement to help them strive in accomplishing organizational goals. One of the other things is that it should be measurable. There should be some kind of metric that helps the organization, meet specific goals. Meaningful metrics help the mission be accomplished. There are quantitative and qualitative measures, and it should be established and evaluated on a recurring basis. It should be a direct measure of the mission. So mission statements have a lot of power and impact over three main domains: advertising, location, and staffing. So with advertising, what magazines, what online sources, what endorsements. With location, where are they located? Is it even important where they're located? And then staffing, size, style, sophistication, and approach. So mission statements have a significant impact, and usually the mission statement comes from the founder or top manager of an organization. And it should be clear in how the organization competes. And it should help by clearly specifying in which market the firm will compete, and this may be a geographic range. And there are major ways that any kind of organization can compete. It really is important, though, that wherever your organization competes, it should have a sustainable competitive advantage. And building a sustainable business is critical to long-term success. And so you have to have an advantage that others cannot immediately copy. So a sustainable competitive advantage will disappear very often as industries change. And so organizations need to be set up to adapt appropriately. Companies need to really understand your consumers' needs. Relationships with customers can be a great source of a sustainable advantage. So make sure that every customer leaves wildly, ravingly happy about your product or service, so they want to tell other people about it. And before developing a mission statement, the business really must be clear about what its competitive advantage is, so it could create a list of things that give its competitive advantage. So let's talk about identifying a sustainable competitive advantage in basically 3 different steps, and I'll walk you through this. So step 1, you've got to develop a list of assets and capabilities, either existing or proposed. Step 2 is break that list into 2 groups, standard and extraordinary. And then 3, evaluate the extraordinary resources and capabilities. So let's talk about those. So when you're developing your list of business assets and capabilities, you've got tangible assets and intangible assets. And tangible are hard assets like equipment and location, and it really is critical to be able to list these things. Intangible are things that are not physical, but they're really just as critical to the success of the organization, and that could be a key relationship with a supplier. And so build positive relationships with everybody along the way. You can't afford to make any enemies in business. Tangible and intangible assets, like tangible assets are buildings, the location, equipment, the financing, inventory, patents or patents pending, software systems, walls, fixtures. Intangible assets, industry experience, conducts, previous experience, education, knowledge of the industry, who your founders are, and what their skill sets are, and then the brand itself is an intangible asset. So Then after that, in step 2, you've got to split the list into standard and extraordinary assets. And most things like office equipment, systems, and telephones are standard for every industry. And most capabilities or skills of founders and employees are standard. Excellent customer service should be a no-brainer. And some extraordinary assets and capabilities will give you that competitive advantage. Step number 3 is about evaluating competitiveness of extraordinary resources. And you really have to consider creating that list and look at it from the perspective of, does this give us a competitive advantage? Some capabilities on the list may not be the best and to center your business on. And it is important to focus efforts on the areas that provide the greatest competitive advantage. Economic rents is another term that we should consider, and these are financial gains garnered from an asset or capability that are in excess of the ordinary returns in that particular industry. So resource-based perspectives really allow owners and managers to analyze a competitive advantage. And you need to ask yourself these 4 things. Is it rare? Is it easily substituted? Is it durable? And is it valuable? And in looking at these things, you kind of have to measure these things out a little bit. So is it rare? Do very few other companies have it? Non-substitutable, this means it cannot be easily replaced. Durable means time before competitors match the product. And then valuable means, does it outperform competitors in price, cost, and in new customers? So what can you do in each of those 4 different areas is important to ask yourself. Having a strategy is key to every organization's success. And so sometimes you have to take a broad approach in creating your mission statement, but be very, very clear on how you differentiate yourself from your competitors. 3 things to consider in your strategy is cost, differentiation, and then focus. And most new firms purchase a combination or pursue a combination of the 3 in order to create value. That's when we develop our strategy. Step 1, the mission statement should specify where and how the firm is to compete. Step 2 in your strategy, a plan showing capabilities used to meet each part of the mission and strategy. Step 3, confirm the strategy is defendable and will provide average economic return. And then step 4, constantly reevaluate your strategy. So when applying your strategy, it's about fit and alignment within your business. The business must be built on a consistent set of activities around the mission and strategy. And this will help your business be clear on its strengths and give it the best opportunity to make economic rents. So hopefully you found this video on understanding business, mission, and strategy useful as you put together your small business plan or revamp your small business plan in order to help create a viable organization. The mission statement is such a valuable document that you must really do correctly, and it should sustain time if you do it right. All right, I've given you a lot to think about in this 5th video in my entrepreneurial series of videos. I hope you've enjoyed the content and can take something away with it. And more importantly, I hope that you have a great day, because only you get to choose how you feel about it. I'm Dr. Paul.